Hello everyone, this is Venom when We Have Landed Entertainment, and we are back for our first tips and tricks video for Starfield. We're going to be coming out of the game with a hot one here. You guys are going to love this one. First off, I know a lot of people are doing the Manus questline, and a lot of people are out looking for armor. Or what if I told you that you can get whatever legendary effects you want on your armor? Or at least you can cycle through them to get different effects. So what I discovered is, if you go through and you find a mannequin that has armor on it, if you save before you open up the mannequin, open it up, see what's in there, and if you don't like it, you can reload your game and it'll be either different armor or different effects on it. I say effects because this also works with legendary gear. Many people are doing the early game quest line, the Manus, to get that chip and the cool armor. Well, I found this out doing that. If you save before you get the Manus armor, open it up. If you don't like the effects on it, you are not stuck with it for your entire playthrough. Reload your game, and you can see me in the background doing it. Reload your game, and you will have a different set of perks on it this time. Again, I did this about 20 times, got different perks. I kept reloading it till I got exactly what I wanted, or at least a few perks I did want, because of course it is random. This also works with mannequins you find out in the wild. I found a mannequin with just basic gear on it, reloaded it, and it ended up having a piece of gear that turned blue. So again, this works with any mannequin. As long as you have not opened it, save, reload it, and you will get different items. Or different rarities. Next up, this is more of a PSA than a tip, but I'm going to put it here anyway. Skill upgrades do need points. Everything we'd heard up to now said you only got to use a skill point to unlock it, then you train it. You only need a skill point to unlock it, then you train it. We heard it 100 times. That is not true. You have to use a skill point to unlock a skill, do the challenge to rank it up, and then you do need another skill point to unlock the next rank. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to also get, and this is your next tip, you're going to want to unlock the skills you want to upgrade early in the game. The challenges are not retroactive. For example, if you're using the piloting skill and you're destroying enemy ships, if you destroy 100 ships and then unlock to the next rank, to rank 2, you've got to start your challenge from there. It does not go retroactively. So get the perks you want early on in the game as soon as you can and start working on them. Next up, if you want research stuff on your ship, you're going to want to add the research habitats to your ship. In the background, you see me adding in some research habitats to my ship. You're going to want to go to your ship builder. You're going to want to go to the different habitats, and you're going to want to actually look to see what all kinds there are. You can see that there are different ones when you scroll over it. You're going to want to get the ones that give you the all the research and the workshop habitat. So add those on as well. That way you can build things in your ship and you can research. Speaking of research and building, resources. When you start the game, do not get rid of your cutter. That's a cutting tool that's going to last you pretty much the whole game so far, or at least as far as I've played. Keep your cutter. It does not run out of ammo. It just takes a second to recharge. Speaking of the cutter, if you hold the right mouse button or hold the aim button, you will notice that the crosshairs kind of shrink in on each other. When the crosshairs hit the center and then you will mine significantly faster than if you just mined without aiming. So aim, let it fully charge up, and then mine, you will mine much, much faster. Speaking of resources, you can tell a resource is rare if it's got these stars in the right-hand corner of it. If you're looking at a resource that has no stars, it's more than likely common. However, you'll start to notice that some resources have 1, 2, 3, and I've even seen up to 4-star rarity resources. If you see resources that are really rare, you're probably going to want to go ahead and pick those up whenever you see them if you're someone who's going to be wanting to do a lot of crafting and research. Something else to keep in mind, caves also are a good source of resources. Typically, if you find a cave on a planet, you can go in there and find resources that are rare or that you can't find on the outside surface of that planet. So if you're looking for resources, make sure you check caves. In line with picking things up, if you come across any ammo, there's no reason not to pick it up. Ammo has no weight right now. I doubt it's going to be changed in the future. I'm sure there'll be mods that do that, but as of right now, ammunition has no weight, so there's nothing wrong with picking up all the ammo you can. I personally specialize in laser weapons, but I've got plenty of shotgun shells because there's many times where I've run out of laser ammo and I have a shotgun. So kind of keep one of each weapon with you right in the beginning until you have a really good stock of ammo. But again, pick up all the ammo you can because it doesn't weigh anything and there's really no downside of picking it up. Something else you can do too, and something else that a lot of Fallout players are still getting used to, is all the junk you see does not have a use. A lot of it you see really is just junk and it's not worth picking up. Typically, the things you can craft with will say in the description that they're used for crafting. Other than that, things like circuit boards or duct tape, I know it's second nature to pick those up for building things. They are not needed. They are junk and will more than likely weigh you down and not be worth it to pick up for you. Things you can craft with will typically say they can be crafted with. So make sure you go ahead and pick up the right things and you don't pick up a bunch of junk. Speaking of, you can actually mark research for the raw materials. If you wanted to do research or crafting and you don't have that material, you can actually mark it and it will highlight for you in the world when you're looking at it. If you have an item marked for the raw materials and you're looking at it, you will see a magnifying glass to the right of it that lets you know that is something you need for some research or for some weapon or armor upgrades you were looking for. You have it marked. So if you're looking for something, you don't know where it's at or you forgot about it, just make sure you mark it. That way you don't got to pick up everything you see out in the world. Next up, in the ship builder, I'm not going to do a full building tutorial right now. However, there is one thing that may help you out when you are trying to build a ship if you're messing around with it at all. If you're trying to get parts to snap to each other and they don't seem to want to snap to the part above or below that you're trying to get them to snap to, look to the right of your screen. There is actually a set plane that you're trying to snap to. On PC, pressing R and F actually allows you to go up and down as far as where you're trying to snap the pieces to. So if you're trying to snap something to your ship and it just doesn't seem to want to snap to the right part, make sure you're trying to put it on the right plane. And finally, I mentioned the Mantis questline earlier on in this tips and tricks video. If you're wanting to go out and steal ships and fight a lot of the spacers, do not bring the Mantis ship with you. Do not bring the leafcutter with you. Again, spoiler alert, but again, I think you've been warned at this point. If you bring the leafcutter with you, spacers typically will freak out and see that ship, and they will actually run away from you. I've actually had a couple of times where I was trying to board an enemy ship, and they freaked out before I could take out their engines, and they ran away so I couldn't board and steal their ship. So if you wanted to go ship stealing from spacers, do not bring the leafcutter with you. They recognize the ship. That's going to do it for me for today, guys. I'll be bringing you more tips and tricks as we go. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be going over some mods later on. There are already mods out for the game, so I'll be going over what we got on the Nexus already. And I will see you guys later.